Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Oh, good morning and good day and happy Thursday. This is Run It Back. Chandler in his pukey green sweatshirt.
It's game day, baby.
Are you nervous?
I am so nervous.
That's so weird to me.
It's funny. I was just telling. I'm more nervous for the Gator game tonight than I was like during a big game for me when I was playing.
A big game, eh? You changed the wording.
Like a sick playoff game in the first round.
Yeah, the first round playoff game. Gotcha. Lou is taking care of his baby girl, and so we will see him next week. But we have a lot of basketball to talk about. We're a little worried because now with just the two of us and no Lou to buffer, we might get fired. But here we go.
Surprised you moved on from the Gator game so quick. We need to talk.
Pacers. There'll be time at the end. The big chip-in heard around the world from LeBron. Wins it at the buzzer, 121-19. He finished with 13, 13, and 7. Luka, 34 points. Austin Reeves had his 24, and Tyrese Halliburton with 16 points, 18 assists. They took him out with 42 seconds left. The Lakers go on. They miss the next possession. He did not use his last timeout, Rick Carlisle, to put Halliburton back in the game. And so I'm kind of wondering from a strategy standpoint what you made of that.
It wasn't a good look, and this is their best offensive player. This is kind of their guy that gets them into their offense, and you don't get to, save your timeouts. If you don't use them, it's not like they carry over to overtime.
Right.
So this was a big mistake, and Rick Carlisle has actually done this multiple times before in Indiana, in Dallas, but there's no point not to just burn a timeout. You know they're going to get another possession anyways on the other end, so put your best player in, put your playmaker in, get everyone, draw up a set. And I understand sometimes it's the free flow into the game. You want to just keep going. Maybe the defense isn't set either, so a lot of times coaches don't want to burn that timeout because they don't want to let them set their defense. They don't want them to make proper substitutions to get matchups right, but when it's your best player and it's the guy that sets up your entire offense, you got to burn the timeout. You got to get him in a set. And then also because you have to talk about defense on the other end. And obviously hindsight now, looking back, they got a horrible shot with Matherin at the end of the shot clock. And then you don't get a stop. And Luka makes that floater 8 times out of 10. So I think it was a mistake by Carlisle, but a lot of times coaches do this just to not allow that defense to get set.
There's going to be a lot of LeBron talk today. And it's not because we're trying to, grasp at content, because there's a lot to be said. There was a lot said yesterday by him. And then, of course, he goes on to have the... it's a buzzer beater. It's a tip-in, though. And there's already been a little bit of discussion on sort of what do you do with that. But either way, it gets the job done. It wins the game. He's now tied for second most in NBA history behind you-know-who, MJ. I know there are those that say he's not clutch. I don't know what you feel about this being a buzzer beater, so talk to me.
Well, this is a buzzer beater, and again, 5 years from now, when we look at the numbers and we look at how many buzzer beaters he has, we're not going to remember that this was a tip-in. At the end of the day, this counts.
Some will.
But I'm just this counts as his 8th or 9th or whatever the number is. But it's not like this was a clutch shot. This was a big play. This was a great hustle play to not give up, to crash the glass, to know that this is the only option they had when that floater was released. But there is a difference of a game winner, of a kind of a step back game winner. There's a difference to me if you're down 1 or down 2 rather than the score being tied. That makes the scenario a little bit more stressful, a little more impactful. But again, this was a huge effort play from a 40-year-old guy on the offensive glass for a game winner. Yes, but does this make him now a little bit more clutch, closer to MJ? Not on a tip-in buzzer beater, but it was a hell of a play.
By the way, I love that the list. It's Kobe also with 8, and our guy Joe Johnson.
How many sites does Joe have?
8? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of a fun
What does Dame Lillard have?
So, I don't know. It's not...
It's got to be a lot.
It's got to be a lot. Yeah, it's got to be a bunch. You think he's the guy?
He's the face of game winners.
He's the king of game winners.
Game on the line, clutch. Who wants the ball? I want Dame Lillard.
Yeah, there's an actual time named after it. Like that's thank you. That's a whole thing. He had 3 points, by the way, entering the 4th. LeBron did, but his streak is alive. 10 or more points. 1,283 games, goes back to 2007.
It's ridiculous.
That's another crazy streak that he's got on there. I don't know who's touching that one soon. By the way, for perspective, for context, MJ had 866.
It's unbelievable, and I know we talk about like the stats, like will Steph's threes ever be broken?
Sure.
Well, this record, I don't think this will ever be broken because this just means he's never even like went down before he's in the first quarter to where he didn't get 10 points. He finishes games. He plays a lot of minutes. He's obviously played for a long time, but 10 plus points. I mean, it's nothing. It's not crazy when you look at his resume, but like to average 10 points in your NBA career is a hell of a career. Like I think that is a solid career where you are productive. You played averaging 10 points. This guy's done it 1,300 games in a row. It really is remarkable. And again, it just goes to his testament of how hard he works, how consistent he is. He's never just laid an egg and had like a 2 for 13 game where he didn't at least get to the free throw line and have 6, 7, 8, 9 points. Look across the stars across the league. They all have those type of games.
For sure.
Not LeBron James.
Yeah, that is a crazy number. And I get it. We're in territory now. He's been playing long enough that he's going to have a bunch of these milestones just by longevity alone, but
he never got like tossed in the first half where he had like 9 points. Like it's impressive. It's crazy.
Yeah, why
he's never gotten foul trouble. He never got hurt, and like had to, like it's a ridiculous heater.
Kind of a crazy number. And the thing is too that for the Lakers that they were having that losing streak of 3. So I would have to imagine, given what these standings look like and the movement that still is potentially up in the air for a lot of these teams, this was a big win.
It was huge, and it's a team that's desperate. It's a team that's lost 7 of 10 games. It's a team that needed this win, and this could have easily went the other way. Without this tip-in, they go to overtime. Who knows what happens? And we're talking about a completely different headline today, how the Lakers have now lost 4 in a row, and you know, they're fully healthy now, and they're getting their guys back. This was much, much needed. It was a balanced effort. You look across the board, even LeBron with 13-13, that is a great game for him when you can allow Luka to go and have 34. When Austin Reeves, who's arguably been their best, most consistent player, has 24. When you're getting a little bit of everything from Jackson Hayes, again, was unbelievable last night. He is the key, I think, to this team, just giving them that lob threat, giving them athletic 5 that's altering shots on the defensive end, but also giving Luka that lob threat on the offensive end. So this was a great balanced win. This was a much-needed win. I don't think they looked great. I don't think they played unbelievable, but they did enough to win the game. They defended. They got stops when it mattered. And again, when you lose 7 out of 10, this is a huge win to get off the schneid.
The schneid. Okay. So the thing that was trending and will probably trend through the rest of today and forever is the fact that while in Indianapolis, not a lot to do, which is why Pat McAfee being there is brilliant, because he got LeBron James to sit down for over an hour. And this thing had everything. They talked about everything. They talked about conspiracies. They talked about MJ. They talked about Brian Windhorst for some reason. And then, of course, the Stephen A. Smith stuff. So let's just start wherever you want to start. What did you think about it?
First of all, it's really cool. I think that he did this on a game day.
Like, I know.
He recorded it today before.
I think they recorded it Tuesday and aired yesterday.
The fact that he did that, and again, we can knock social media and all these different podcast stuff, but as a fan, this has got to be awesome to see one of the greatest players, LeBron James, sit down, uncut, unfiltered. I've never heard the guy curse that much. I've never heard him speak like that ever. So it was fun to see him in that element. And Pat does such a good job with getting guys to be comfortable and makes it in a fun, silly way, but. It was great, and I understand where his frustrations. Listen, Stephen A. Smith, he makes a boatload of money. We all have our opinions on him, but and he can.
Do we? What do we have?
He can irritate you. He breaks news in a different, unique kind of way, which I think separates him. But
hold up. He doesn't break news. He makes himself the news.
Okay, fine, yeah, sure. And as a player, listen, I'll tell you a story. When I was in Dallas and I was on my first max deal. Tim McMahon, who's my guy now.
Sure.
I'm cool with him now. My best friend at the time, Pasha, literally almost beat him up in the tunnel because every single time I would do something, he would cover it. He would tweet something that was just passive aggressive. He would tweet something negative. Then I'd have 25, and he would literally write, "Finally, Chandler Parsons has 25." just a dick. Like, sorry, just a jerk. And like
God,
that,
LeBron, settle down with the language.
Yeah, and he just, my bad. And he would just crush me. So, and again, as a player now on the media side, I get it. As a media member, you're trying to do your job. You're trying to report the news. You're trying to break the news, and you have your opinion on it, which is whether it's right or wrong. As a player, you hate that. You hate that this guy who never played, who never could touch you on the basketball court, who never had any sort of success that you had, has this opinion on you, and it's always negative. And then when it crossed the line of personal about his son and his family, there are boundaries and there are ways to do what we do. So I see both sides, because now on this side of it, I do the same thing. I just answer the questions that are on the call sheet, and sometimes that pisses players off.
Love that you call it a call sheet. That's cool.
Is that what it's called?
Nope. Run down.
Like Kyle Kuzma has this thing with me because I talk about his outfits, but I'm just doing my job, answering questions. Like I wake up and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna hate on Kyle Kuzma today.
You're not personally attacked.
No, never. You're literally just doing it. But I understand that as a player. So again, LeBron, everything with his family is I think there's boundaries and there's lines that clearly he thought were crossed.
But they weren't. So let's start there.
What do you think on it?
I
We got no Lou today. What do you do?
I find it First of all, this feels like a WWE situation at this point. And
it feels a little Logan, Jake Paul.
There's no coincidence. It's Pat McAfee, who is now one of the faces of WWE, all right? He's hosting this. LeBron James goes on there for over an hour on the very network where the dude he confronted in public also is the highest paid guy on the network. All of it feels fake to me. Within 5 minutes of this thing becoming public, Stephen A. Smith is now putting out videos. And by the way, I will say this, LeBron James calling Stephen A's situation right now, basically he's on a Taylor Swift tour.
And Whitey Tighty's got me too.
Chef's kiss. He is. That video was one of the greatest things that ever happened to Stephen A. because he has milked it and he's gone on every network and outlet and continues to talk about it. Now, when you start talking about how you're going to get physical, bro, we've all seen the boxing video. Don't say stuff like that out loud. Like it's bad. It's not a good look. And LeBron had a couple zingers on that as well. And what you're asking me to do right now, Chandler, is choose between two people that I don't want to choose. And so I kind of feel like, wow, we have entered a really weird realm. I think where LeBron lost a lot of people from yesterday's interview, because of the Stephen A, who cares, right? But when you go after Brian Windhorst,
who's had his back,
who's been covering him since he was a kid, since he was like a high schooler, I didn't really get it. It felt unprovoked, unnecessary, a bit bullying, I guess, if you will. And you see quickly very much how much Brian Windhorst is loved in this industry, because I've seen everyone from the guys over on NBA radio to Amin El-Hassan, like everyone's picking up for Windy because. Why, dude? Why are we picking on Brian Windhorst? Yeah,
throughout my whole career, I thought this was LeBron's guy. This was his guy that's always repped him. He always speaks very, very highly of him. Like, you never see him poo-poo on LeBron. Like, it's always very positive in a way. And obviously, I thought he was literally on LeBron's, like, staff, like, my whole career because he literally was so, you know.
He was on the watch.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't love that either. But also, I again, as a player, I know you hold on to every little thing a media member says. You don't, like, I remember on draft night, Jay Billis said it, Chandler Parsons, 38th pick. He'll make a lot of money overseas. Can't stand that ever since then. Like, I mean, like,
but you did make a lot of money over here.
Yeah,
so
but you know what
great.
I mean? I don't forget that, though.
Why would you?
Well, call it petty, call it whatever. Like, even as much as we got going on, you don't forget when people hate on you. You don't forget when people doubt you. And as a media, the member now too, I'm seeing both sides of that.
You also can't backtrack, and I think that's what's also been a little bit embarrassing about all this, especially since the public conversation. You've seen now the Taylor Swift tour. There's a lot of backtracking going on as well. The whole thing, again, as an outsider watching it, it's laughable, but not in the fun comedy way. Just sort of in a roll your eyes way. Like, I hope it's almost over.
I feel like there's going to be like a sit down now between LeBron and Stephen A. Smith.
God.
It's going to be
like a tears?
interview. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
it's just, I don't know. And I think it's real. I think LeBron definitely can't stand the dude, and I think a lot of people can't stand the dude.
Oh, that's
but
fair.
Again, I see both sides.
Good for you for being enlightened.
Listen,
I wish it would all
man of the people.
Mend it.
You want to see him box or something? You want to see him?
I can't tell you how embarrassing and fun that would be to watch. Because when you see an unathletic endeavor done by an unathletic person, that's comedy. That's the comedy I can get behind. Clippers at Knicks. That was a game that also happened. Harden and Kawhi. Big win for the Clippers. 126-113. Harden finished with 29. Kawhi Leonard finished with 27, 10, and 7. And Karl Anthony Towns with 34 points, 13 rebounds. 9 of their last 11 games have been victorious for Los Angeles. And they are just doing it in a way where we don't spend a ton of time talking about it, but they are there. Are they going to sneakily be a problem?
I don't think they have enough to contend this year, but yeah, they are a hard out. They are a matchup nightmare. They struggled a lot, honestly, when Norman Powell went out during this stretch of the season during All-Star break. They have been so good with him all year long. He has been so consistent. And now you have Kawhi Leonard playing at an elite level that we're used to playing and playing a lot of minutes. James Harden's been unbelievable all the season long. But now you got getting Derek Jones, the Bogey Bogdanovic. Zubats has been unbelievable, averaging career numbers this entire season. So they do have this experienced, older, mature team that can defend, they can score. So yeah, if they're healthy and they get a good matchup against like a young Rockets team or a Grizzlies team, I can see them playing spoiler in the first round. Denver, I still think has too much for them, but yeah, I would, if I'm one of those teams, this would be a tough matchup with all that experience and all those vets, all those ways to score. Like, how do you guard them? You have 3 elite wing scorers. You have a big that's going to clean the glass and block shots and finish everything. They're a deep team, so yeah, I think they're kind of hitting their peak at the right moment.
And the Kawhi part of it all is it's amazing. He's averaging 26, 58% shooting over his last 7 games. Everybody who loves basketball has wanted to see this Kawhi Leonard for a while now, and we sort of didn't get to have that due to injury. So is he capable of, and I don't want to jinx it, by the way, like a 2019 type run?
I hope so, because again, he is so good when he is healthy, and it's never been about his production. When he's on the floor and he's playing 30-plus minutes, he's unbelievable. And the biggest thing to me is, look, last night, 40 minutes. The other night, 40 minutes. So when I see him doing that on consecutive games, that means he's feeling well. And you watch him. He's just got that pep in his step. He's got that bounce. He looks strong. He looks sturdy. When he was not himself, you could visibly see that. You could see physically he lost his step. He wasn't getting to his mid-range. He wasn't getting to the free throw line. He's now shown us, the last couple of weeks in particular, that he is a top tier player. He is a 1A option. It's just whether he can sustain that. And I don't know, but I hold my breath still a little bit when he plays, but I hope he does, because he is a great player, great dude, and the Clippers need him to have success in the postseason. The
Knicks side of things, bad timing to sort of have this run. They're 5-5 with Brunson having been out this entire time. He won't be reevaluated till Friday. I know there have been reports that his rehab's going well, but how concerned are you? I mean, we don't have a lot of time left here.
Yeah, I'm concerned, but I'm surprised they're only 5-5. It feels like they've lost every single game.
It does feel worse.
So the fact that they are 500 and it feels like they're staying afloat, they're going to get that 3 seed. So now it's all about who they're going to face, but he's just got to get healthy. This team is night and day without him. And again, with the ankle, you never really know if there's a setback. If he tried to do some 1-on-1 or 3-on-3 workouts and had tweaked it again, you never know. But I feel like this has taken an awfully long time with just an ankle.
I think they don't want, given everything how it ended last year, I think the idea is it has to be 100% or nothing.
Which I totally agree. And again, I love the fact that I know Deuce was out last night, but
Cam got hurt.
They put Campaign in the starting lineup, then he goes down. So it just seems to, when it rains, it pours for this team right now. But they still have enough. You still have Karl Anthony Towns. You still have Bridges. This is why you go out and get a Bridges. This is why you go and get those talented players, because throughout an injury, especially in a Tibbs ran system, that's a lot of minutes, a lot of load. There's not really a load management situation in New York. So this team has a shot with Jalen Brunson, but they got to get him back.
They 100% have to get him back. Bucks in Denver. No Giannis in this one, and no issues. Denver wins. Jokic's big return, of course, 127-117. And he has a triple-double. Duh, that's what he does. Michael Porter Jr. finished with 23 points, 10 rebounds. Brook Lopez, hey, 26 points, 7 rebounds. He had 20 in the first half. But it's the triple-double return that's just classic Nikola. We know he's going to be second in the MVP race, but it's kind of fun that that's what he does on his return.
It's crazy. The dude just doesn't miss a beat. He somehow stays in shape when he doesn't even necessarily look like he's in great shape. It's unbelievable. And the dime last night was just, point guards don't make that pass. It is unbelievable, the vision in which he has and the versatility which he plays with. It's rare that you can have look at this, is a 7-footer doing an off the dribble spin move, no look over the shoulder, Magic Johnson-esque, may I say.
A video game.
It's a joke. And so, I always say, if there was one person I could pick right now to play with, it's Jokic. It's not even close, because he finds a way to score, but also get everybody involved. He plays so unselfish. It's nuts to look back and see his stats, that he's not going to win MVP. And again, credit to SGA, not to knock him. He deserves it. He's on the best team. He's had an unbelievable year. It's crazy. This is the best season ever to not win an MVP.
It really is.
It has to be.
I feel like he's going to be in it every year in the discussion, which is not a horrible place to be in your career. He's the 4th player in history with 30 triple-doubles in a season, and that list, of course, is Oscar, Wilt, and Russ. That pass, though, I could watch it on a loop. I'm not even exaggerating.
Put it on again.
Yeah, let's do it again, because it's everything. It makes you just feel kind of happy thoughts. You know
how the coaches will say, or players will say, when I play with this point guard, I always had to have my hands up.
Yeah.
You have to do that with this center. You know how unique and how rare that is. And again, it's most people don't even. When I saw this, it blows my mind every single time.
Poor Brook Lopez is like, wait, what?
What do you even do? As a
forget it.
I mean, I guess in film tomorrow, like, what is Doc gonna say?
You
like,
just laugh.
Gary Trent, you gotta see both. you can't let him back cut behind you. But like, this pass should have never been made. Like, he should have just kept going to the middle and tried to score.
I love it.
Yeah, it's one of the best passes I've ever seen, let alone pass of the year.
It just doesn't look. It looks like
it's ridiculous.
It's in an actual game. Like the whole thing, it's perfect. God, I love that was his return. Michael Porter Jr., by the way, we don't talk a ton, but he's averaging 20 and 7 almost in wins for the team so far this season. Jamal Murray, we know, has been great. Correct me if I'm wrong, but during the trade speculation,
he was a juicy name.
He was a juicy name, and here we are. So how big a role does he play on this team? He's
huge, and he's the perfect guy when he's having the right shot selection to play with Jamal Murray, with Nikola Jokic, because he fits the system well. He's going to have open looks, just how much naturally the attention that those two guys create. And with him, I think he gets in trouble when he takes early bad shots, when he doesn't make the extra pass, the swing to the corner, and he kind of forces a early shot clock bad three. That's when he gets in trouble. He's always been a solid defender. He's always been a unbelievable rebounder from his position. So I think it's just him as he grows up, as he matures, and his game develops a little bit. It's just understanding their offense, shot selection, because he's great. This guy was the #1 player in high school, if you remember. Yeah. He was unbelievable. He had the back issues at Missouri. Yep. He fell in the draft, and they got an absolute steal. And again, he was a name because I think teams know that he's good, and he's one of those players that can possibly do more in a bigger situation. Like, he doesn't have to just be a standstill shooter. I think if he's a guy that goes to another team, he's a 20, 24 point per game a night. I mean, he's that good. But he's also perfect for this system as the third option.
He had a moment last week where I thought, wow, he's really arrived. He was on one of those sort of celebrity gossip websites, just pictures of him in a Rolex dealership over in Beverly Hills. And I was like, Michael Porter Jr. is arriving.
Yeah.
And I love that for him. Paparazzi's out there. The Bucks, this is bad. We know that they're not going to have Dame Lillard indefinitely, and they've lost 4 of their last 6. They're now in that 6th spot, which, by the way, shout out Detroit. But I'm wondering what looked like they were starting to really kind of get some hope back from the beginning of the season to this is a tough turn.
It just reminds me of the Knicks right now. You take off the head of the snake, you take off Jalen Brunson, you take off Damian Lillard. That is a huge blow to the team, especially just the timing. It's like right when you think things are going well, playoffs coming. Now we're talking about seeding and possible matchups. They have no chance without Damian Lillard. The Mavs have no chance without Kyrie Irving. The Knicks have no chance with Jalen Brunson. These guys are so important, so valuable to their teams that you have to have these guys. And so, again, we're talking about Damian Lillard with a blood clot. I think that's a little more serious than like an ankle sprain with Jalen. But, yeah, they're getting things from other. Gary Trent's playing good. AJ Green's playing solid. Rollins last night had 17. So they're getting production. But when you take off a guy like Damian Lillard, just the attention he creates on the offensive end, it allows the game to come so much easier for everybody else. It's tough. So it's not ideal for them. Again, right now is when you want to be the healthiest, when you want to be peaking and confident going into the postseason. It feels like a lot of these teams are kind of limping to the postseason.
And that's what I don't want.
It's awful.
This is not what we wanted. The Suns had been on a nice little run there, and then Boston showed up without Jason Tatum, by the way, and they scorched them 132-102. Kristaps finished with 30 and 8. 6 players for Boston scored in double figures. Kevin Durant did have his 30, but they gave up 73 points by the half. And and by the way, we've seen that a couple, like the Cavs have dropped 73 on a few people by halves, but how can it be that bad?
I mean, the Celtics are very good. The Celtics offense are very good. You take their best player. By the way, I don't know what's worse, 76 points and a half or 108 points through 3 quarters.
Well, they were 22 of 52 from 3. Oof.
And again, I think the Suns, this is a horrible, horrible look, just at what you're playing for, what's at stake, just for you to sneak in and kind of try and salvage this season. They went up against an offensive juggernaut. We always talk about the Celtics. When they're on, they are on. And they are capable of doing this. When they shoot this efficient from the 3, I remember in the 3rd quarter, it seems like every single possession, they're just getting wide open threes. They move. If I have a good shot, you have a great shot. They're giving it up. They had the ball moving around yesterday, which put the Suns in a bind defensively. But they were just, I don't understand. And I feel like they actually played hard last night. I watched this game. They attempted to give the effort that they didn't have earlier in the season that I saw. So again, I think they just ran into a buzzsaw last night with the Celtics hitting a bunch of threes.
How does that, I mean, okay, so let me ask you this, because they're battling for any sort of postseason life. You had a nice streak going, and then you run into the defending champs. So is that demoralizing the way we think it would be, or do you just say, well, it was Boston?
I think a little bit of both. I think, look, we got to be better. We have got to clean up a lot of things. But again, this is also, we're talking about sneaking in the play-in. This is a real contender. This is kind of an eye-opening thing. Like, okay, this is how far away we are, but we probably aren't going to have to deal with them till in June if it magically happens.
Dear
so
Lord.
yeah, so like again, this is just one loss to a team that's done this to a bunch of teams throughout the season. So it's nothing that you hang your head on. They're still playing for something, but it doesn't feel good to get blown out like this.
Deepest team in the league right now: Boston, Cleveland, or OKC? I would take all of those.
It's not Boston, which is crazy because they got the sixth man of the year. They have the sixth man of the year, so he has the best bench player. But I think it's got to be OKC. You see them pull guys I've never heard of. They come 15-5. They're so young.
They're like a hockey team. They have like lines.
Yeah, two guys out. They're just shifted in. Two more: Kendrick Williams, Isaiah Joe, Wiggins, Wallace. They have so many different guys that can hurt you that know their role too. Most of those teams, Cleveland's deep as well, and they have shooting. They have size. They have good guards. So to me, it's the Thunder then the Cavs.
Thunder, Cavs, Boston last.
Yeah, I might even throw the Rockets that are deeper than the Celtics. But yeah, the Celtics are the best starting five and the best six man.
All right, we'll accept all of those answers in that order. We've got to take a quick break. Coming up, is winning better than intimacy? That's what we're calling it.
Huh?
Run it back comes back.
Run it up, run it back.
Okay, we got some fun you buy in that. So Sam Amick, shout out, had an article, and in it, Giannis said, quote, winning is better than intimacy. First of all, I love how, evolved we are calling it intimacy.
Yeah.
But are you buying that?
No. I'm not. And listen, I love winning, and I love coaches say, you gotta hate to lose more than you love to win. Sure, fine. Like, I hate losing.
Hold on, we're talking about winning like everything, the whole big.
Are we talking about
enchilada.
like a game last
Not
night
like
or
daily.
the intimacy last night? Or are we talking about a championship? Like, what are we talking about?
Okay, let me ask you this. You can get a championship, but you can't have, you can't be intimate for a year.
No.
Really?
No chance. No chance.
Easy, yes.
For you'd rather the championship?
Easily. I could do that without winning anything. That's not that big a deal.
Yeah, I guess you can still do it when you lose, so sure. Probably better. It's actually better
You
when you
wouldn't
lose.
give it up. How about 6 months?
More angry when you
Let me
lose.
see.
There's different kinds of it. Let me tell you about different
Have you
kinds
seen Bull
of it.
Durham? You got to channel the energy.
There's different kinds of love.
Also, he's got like what, 4 children, 5? Like, clearly.
Yeah, and he likes to be silly with these kind of
But I do,
comments, so,
intimacy
but it's
makes me giggle. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. I don't know. I think that's actually, as much as I'm laughing and giggling, it's a legitimate thing.
Winning
to
feels
talk
better.
about.
Like, what are we doing?
Winning but winning a championship, like having the parade, forever you're a champ. All you have to do is sacrifice it for a year.
But why? No, I don't want to do that.
God, you're the worst.
I don't want to do that.
You know what? You're a loser at heart, Chandler.
Yeah, maybe. Fine. That makes me a loser. I'll be a loser.
This is why you never got out of the first round. This is all starting to make
told you that
sense
in
to me.
confidence.
Oh, I'm sorry. They can look it up. All right, LeBron said, I got a lot of Giannis in this one today, that if Giannis played in the 70s, he'd have 250 points in a game. Even every time I say it, it's funny. You buying that, first of all?
Listen, I'm a big era guy, and I think today, the game evolves. I think guys are better. They're more fit. They're stronger. They're more athletic. 250 points is outrageous. Now, do I think he could possibly make a run at Wilt's record and have over 100 back in the day? Yes, I think they would arrest him if they saw Giannis in the 70s do what he did against those guys. So I think it's a whole different level. It's a whole different level of athleticism and resources and medical advances we have now. It's not even a fair argument, but no, I'm not buying that he could have 250, but yes, I'm buying that he could possibly have over 100.
Okay, but what about
multiple guys? I think could do that.
But Chris Russo, one of my other bosses, said that Giannis isn't even in the same ballpark as Julius Erving. See, this is where you start to lose. These era arguments are tough.
Yeah, and everyone has their opinion,
I know.
and usually it's generational based and when you grew up and who you watched and nostalgia and all those things. So, like, yeah, was Julius Erving great for his time? 100%. Is Giannis great for his time? 100%. I know I could drop Giannis in the 70s and him be very, very good.
Okay.
I don't know how much better Julius Erving would be if we dropped him in the 2025.
Why do you say that?
Right now. Just because of the advances and the evolution and the speed and the athleticism. again, I know their biggest argument is the difference of the fouls and the physicality.
Yeah, how you could play.
Which is also fair. But I'm pretty sure if guys are bigger, stronger, faster now, they could handle the physicality back then.
Could they? Because there's a lot of crying.
Listen, and you think, oh, they think our generation is soft because of how the game is called now. That's not true. I think Giannis is a freak. His name is the Greek freak. You don't think he could dominate any era?
I know, I do. It's sometimes these arguments, there's no.
And again, this is a lose-lose because you're not just
Right.
gonna like Julius Erving's unbelievable, and he is iconic, and he is innovative, and the things he was doing was way above his time. Now, I don't know if he would do that with Lou Dort hawking him 94 feet. You know what I mean? I don't know if they would do that the way the game is officiated now. I know you drop Giannis in the 70s, he is absolutely dominant.
Have we always done this? Like, look, I was younger, so I probably wouldn't have paid attention even if they had. But in the 80s and 90s, were the stars then talking about what they could and could not do?
Yeah, I don't think MJ was like, I'd be so much better in the
Right?
60s.
Like, why do we do this?
I just think it's a competitive thing. I think it's all generational. I think there's certain players, too, that are timeless, that are generational. Like,
Yeah.
you could put Shaq in any era. He's unbelievable. Now, granted, he'd get fouled a lot today, and he'd shoot a lot more free throws, and it would be kind of a liability on that aspect.
be an issue. You'd have
But
to
he
work
would
on it.
dominate. The Tim Duncans, the MJs, the Kobes, they would be good in every single era. There are certain eras where I don't know if it would correlate,
Okay.
good.
It's just a funny thing. It's daily.
But yeah, I don't remember them being like, oh, Larry Bird would have destroyed the 50s.
I would have
Like,
crushed that dude.
I feel like that wasn't an
remember that.
argument back in the day.
It really, and maybe it wasn't because we don't have tons and tons of streaming.
Well,
ways
also, I
to
think it
read.
a lot has to do with like the financial, what these guys are making now. Like, can you imagine if we were making that and what, you know what I mean? I think it's almost a little bit of a jealousy type of thing with the generation now.
Yeah, but I think in return, I think the generation now also poo-poos a lot on the past, and I feel like if anybody shouldn't do that, it should be the nows.
Yeah.
Like, you should be like, wow, they paved the way, A, and B, holy crap, look how awesome our lives are now.
100%. And those
So I don't
guys,
get it.
I don't like it when they're over the top disrespectful. Like,
Yeah.
like saying 250 points in a game, like that's outrageous.
I mean, I get it. He's whatever. There's a little bit of levity in that.
And that's a
but-
little exaggerating. I think he's exaggerating a bit, but like I do think he would have a statue in front of the arena.
Yeah.
But he's going to be that already now, so of course he would be that.
Also, why is everyone talking so much about Giannis?
Also, why didn't you say he would have 250? If Giannis would, how many would he have?
Because he's humble. God. Carlos Boozer said it's in the Suns' best interest to keep KD and Booker together. This is going to be an interesting offseason, Chandler. Are you buying that?
No, just because I think this team has just failed, and I just think this team didn't reach their potential. And whether that was the other moves, whether that was the chemistry between these two, whether it was the kind of the disappointing year from Bradley Beal, supposed to be that third piece, for whatever reason, this team didn't work. It doesn't work. They're god awful defensively, so I don't know if they could bring in other guys to kind of make this mesh well, but. Sure, would I like to see Kevin Durant stay there and kind of build something and finish his career in the same place and not go to a team that's really good? Yeah, sure, but I just think this team has just been such a disappointment where it's going to get blown up. There's going to be moves made. Who knows what happens with Bradley Beal and his no trade clause, but I can't see this team going back together next year. Imagine if this team, the same team, and they start off 2-5, and they got to do this whole thing again, this whole song and dance next season.
Bradley Beal, look, I know he's not thinking this at all. I'm just thinking of it as myself outside looking in. But what a weird situation. Now, we would all kill to have a no-trade clause in any deal that we have with any company. But it may ultimately be that they end up having to move Devin Booker and KD
He might be the only one back.
because they can't move
Yeah,
Beal. But don't, like, just as yourself, what an awkward feeling, for the fans, for everyone. He's not going to care. Like you said, he's getting paid, he's happy, he's good, but that's weird.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of this no trade clause, and I don't think they'll be handed out as loosely as they were with this, but yeah, that could be an awkward situation where he just forces his way back, and
sorry, you're stuck with me.
KD ends up getting shipped off, and Booker gets shipped off, and he's the last remaining guy just because simply the no trade clause. It definitely could be a little weird.
Because I'm old enough to remember when Booker wasn't even talked about being moved, and now here we are. It's just willy-nilly.
It's like if you're moving Booker, it's full-blown rebuild, tank. Like he's the foundational piece. He's your baby that you drafted. He's been there the longest. If you're getting off him, it's tank mode.
Dang. Chris Mannix over at SI believes that Kevin Durant wants to be in Houston. That's where he would like to end up. That he could be the missing piece to them being title contenders. And so I'm wondering, you know, we've talked a lot about Houston and how great they've become and the road they're on. Would he make them an instant contender?
I think he would. And I think it is a great fit. I think they're young enough and they have a great duo that would obviously stay with Jalen Green and Sengun. He would be that awesome, you know, third option, or he wouldn't be the third option, he'd probably be the first option, but he'd be the third guy to the big three. They do also have a lot of picks. They have a lot of assets that are interesting for Phoenix, where if they are going to go on that rebuilding, you know, way, do they go get a Jabari Smith? Do they go get a Reed Shepherd? Do they go get, you know, the Thompson twin? Like there's a lot of pieces that the Suns would find interesting in this move. And again, when you trade for a Kevin Durant, this is a win now. Let's maximize this duo we have. We already paid them. We know they're here with us. Let's add one of the greatest scorers of all time who's got a small window to win right now. I'd love it. It'd be a great fit.
I mean, look.
And I don't think he'd get murdered either for being like going to a super team.
But also, KD, just keep in mind, it's a quick 3-hour drive. If you just want to head up to San Antonio, that's also an option for you, something you might want to consider. Also same great tax breaks that you're looking to get. Yeah, just throwing it out there, buddy. Gilbert Arenas said Paul George is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a 9-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA. Are you buying that?
First ballot, I don't know. I think he ends up getting in. I love Paul George, one of my favorite players. He's one of my favorite people. I love him, but
nice.
I think a guy like Blake Griffin should get in before him. And he's, you know, I mean, I think that there's there's certain resumes also that aren't as good as Paul George, and they're in the Hall of Fame. So you know, so the Hall of Fame, it's always kind of been interesting to me. What is the actual? What are we voting for? How are we getting him in? But Paul George is a generational talent. He's unbelievable. I think that championships matter a lot. So if he's one of these guys, if Philly wins a championship next year, I think that's like a stamp of approval.
Did you pause subconsciously when you said that?
Well, no, I'm just saying. Okay, I think championships are valued a lot when you go to the Hall of Fame.
All right,
he doesn't have one.
He doesn't have one. Dwight Howard, by the way, just inducted into the Magic Hall of Fame, but he is he's a finalist for 2025. So are you buying him as a first ballot guy?
Yes. Okay. Dwight Howard was the best center and one of the best players in the NBA for 10 straight years. He dominated. He made those runs. He's also, it's just funny, he's a champion, but he's a champion on LA, not even on Orlando, where he was unbelievable. Being from Orlando, he completely changed that city, the franchise. That team was so much fun with him and Turkoglu and Jameer Nelson and Rashad Lewis. That team was great, and he was everything. Defensive Player of the Year multiple times, one of the best defending big men of all time. I think we forget quickly how good, how dominant this dude was. He's first
because
ballot
things
for
happen.
Sure.
Got to remember, like, perspective is like you are talking all of the basketball stuff, but people also then have consumed so much Dwight Howard, you know, Dancing with the Stars. Now he's doing all these crazy little videos. Like, people change who we think they are.
It's a little distracting, I guess, but that doesn't change the fact how good he was.
No, and the people who are in charge of making this happen, they know better. Taking a quick break, a little more coming up, including Steph, the best player ever.
Whoa.
I know, I said it. Ooh, we got some more to talk about. We were just saying in the break, the Detroit Pistons are my favorite team to watch. It's not San Antonio, obviously. And Draymond now saying that Cade Cunningham will bring a championship back to Detroit. Are you buying that?
I am hopeful. Yeah, there's so many good young teams. The Cavs aren't going anywhere. The Thunder aren't going anywhere. The Spurs are on the rise. The Rockets are a good young team. And again, the Celtics, Nuggets teams, like these vet teams, also aren't going anywhere. So it's a tall task. I think he's good enough to be a 1A player on a championship team. I think JB Bickerstaff is a championship-level coach, and I think they have found something here. They've created a culture. They've created a DNA. I think people will want to go and play with Cade Cunningham in free agency. There'll be vets that want to take less money to go and be a part of what they're building over there. So I do think they are building something absolutely special, and I hope they do, because I couldn't be a bigger Cade fan. I could not be a bigger JB Bickerstaff fan.
I thought about this some more yesterday, right? So Cleveland's won 2 in a row. Detroit's won 2 in a row. Cleveland's got 10 games left. Detroit's got 9 games left. Let's just say Cleveland loses 8 of their next 10, and Detroit wins most of theirs. Do the voters have to be open-minded enough to be like, you know, maybe JB Bickerstaff should be Coach of the Year?
They should be, and just like the MVP voting, I think it's already over. You know what I mean? I think the voters already have.
But what if that happens?
Yeah, like if the Cavs go 2-8 and the Pistons go 8-2, I still think the Cavs had such an impactful, such a promising start, and basically a very good consistent season up until the last couple of weeks where they kind of laid an egg a little bit, but they were on a historic pace. We're talking about comparing them to those LeBron, Kyrie teams. They were about to break a franchise record. Everyone thought the big bad Celtics were going to be the best team in the East. It's not, the Cavs are the #1 seed.
They dropped.
So again, I think if the voters are being fair, and they should see it all the way through, because you can't overlook what JB has done in Detroit. I've said this all year long. Everyone knew Cleveland was going to be good. Everyone knew they had talent. Everyone knew they had great guard play, great bigs. Nobody knew the Pistons were going to be good. Nobody thought they were going to be this competitive. And we're talking about they're a tough out in the playoffs against a team like the Knicks or the Pacers, whoever it's not just a fool's gold during a season. This team has created something serious, and I think JB Bickerstaff, unfortunately, I don't think he'll win Coach of the Year, but man, he has a really good shot.
And why don't we ever talk about Dagnall in OKC? We just completely dismissed that altogether.
Yeah, he's got to be up there in the top 3 with those two guys.
Never ever, and like we don't mention it. That's weird to me.
Again, what are we voting for? Are we voting for the best team? Are we like the best turnaround? Like, I think JB Bickerstaff has probably done the best job of getting this team to play. Again, Mark Dagnall and their job's a little easier. They have a boatload of talent. They have the infrastructure of a championship team right now. So they're coaching great teams that are supposed to be contenders. JB's coaching a team that's surprised everybody.
If I had
what are you voting for?
I would really have to think about the JB Bickerstaff, by my own personal definition of what it means.
Yeah.
Because the turnaround to me is part of being a great coach.
It's also interesting, like JB, though, on the flip side, was just the coach of the Cavs, and they weren't as good. You know what I mean? So, like, as much as I love JB, it's
maybe
tough.
he's the guy that needs like the challenge.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea, but I think it's worth talking about. Victor Oladipo considers Steph Curry the best player ever, because he changed the game completely. Are you buying that?
I'm not. I think he's the best point guard ever. I think he's the top 10 player of all time. I think he's unbelievable. And Victor's right. He is innovative. He has changed the game. The way kids look at basketball, the kids want to play basketball, how everyone has to shoot threes now. Just look at the NBA now. It's up and down. It's fast. The Celtics are shooting, 60+ threes on any given night. It's because of the Warriors and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson of how they kind of kickstarted this and did it. But best player of all time, I mean, we always do this list. There's so many greats out there. I think best player of all time is a stretch, but he's the best point guard and the best shooter of all time. When
we say best player ever, too, like how much of that needs to be both sides of the ball? Because I feel like sometimes we only talk about the sexy offense.
Yeah, it counts. You got to be the most, to be talked in the same sentence as MJ and LeBron and Kareem and those guys. They dominated both sides of the ball. They have, defensive, accolades to go along with that.
Yeah.
So that is tough. Again, we're talking about the greatest shooter, the greatest point guard, which is arguably, some people would say Magic. So, I mean, so there's a debate for that too. But it does count. You have to be elite on both sides to be the best of all time.
Speaking of, Pat Bev said that nobody's afraid of the Cavs. He went on to say it's because Garland and Mitchell aren't going to play defense. They won't. And that's what wins championships, and offense sells tickets. So are you buying that nobody's afraid of the Cavs?
I think that was the narrative early. I think everyone was kind of surprised. I think everyone thought, okay, when are they going to fall off? And now with recent struggles, it's kind of validating that a little bit. Like, of course, if you had to pick any team in the Eastern Conference right now, had to choose, who do you want to play in the finals, the Celtics or the Cavs? Everyone would rather play the Cavs, even though they're 4.5 games behind. The Celtics are a better team. They're a more complete team. They're the best starting five. I think they're experienced. They have it all. Now, I think the Cavs are no slouch. The Cavs are legit. The Cavs have it all too. They are so deep. They have great shooting off the bench. Evan Mobley's jump he's made has been super impressive. So they got guys that are kind of having coming out type of years that we've never even talked about before that have been extremely productive.
Like Ty Jerome.
Like Ty Jerome, like the Merrill. Max Strus has been great for them when he's healthy. So, again, I don't think we're scared of them. He's right though. Like I'd be scared to play the Celtics. I think we can beat the Cavs if I'm on one of these other teams.
Man, it's like I just can't wait. Just hurry up. Let's get there. Magic Johnson believes. See, we're just talking about eras. NBA stars sitting out for load management is negatively impacting the ratings, and that, hey, MJ would never do that. He didn't sit out. He played every game. You buying that?
Again, if MJ played this season, he would, because it's above his head, and there's medical experts that would literally make him sit out.
You think someone could make Michael Jordan sit out?
I do, and I just think that's the way of the game now. I think it's the way of science and medical, and you're preserving yourself for when it matters the most. Do I think it's great? No. I think it's sad also when you know, a Western Conference team goes to Orlando, and that's the one chance a kid gets to see his favorite player, and he decides to sit out because he played the night before. I do think there has got to be a balance of it, but again, I don't think what people understand is there's so many medical people. Like there's a trainer, there's a strength coach, there's a medical director, then there's a guy above him. There's so many positions now where everything is so data driven and analytical, and it's most of the time it's out of a player's hands. Now look, if it's game 7, I'm saying, you know, screw you guys, I'm playing, that's different. If Joel Embiid right now in, you know, November, it's like, I'm playing tonight, they will say, no, you are not. There's levels of opinions.
What would happen if he showed up, put his uniform on, and went out there anyway?
I mean, I don't know, he'd get fined, or
he'd drag him back to the locker room.
But yeah, a lot of times this is out of the player's you know, jurisdiction.
It is hard to imagine a world, though, who's telling Michael Jordan, no, sorry, dude, you're not playing. It is just, it's fun to think about, but it's also hard to imagine. We are taking a quick break. More Run It Back on the other side.
Run it up, then run it back.
This bracket season, FanDuel's letting you make the call, because right now new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Bet on everything from team totals to point spreads, and even who's cutting down the nets. Tourney action almost every day. America's #1 sportsbook is the #1 place to bet the tourney. So download the app, get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. Speaking of, you say you're nervous about tonight's game. Like what? Talk to me about your emotions right now.
Okay, I'm nervous.
By the way, Florida, Maryland is what we're...
I'm nervous because it's March. I'm nervous because we have an 8-minute stretch of bad basketball. That's it. And we've been the best team all year long. We're in the best conference. 14 teams were in the tournament for the SEC.
Yeah.
And 7 are still in it.
That's the fact.
7. So listen, this is what makes it so much fun, because anything can happen. It gives everybody a chance. There's also no mid-majors in the Sweet 16. These are all elite.
They're dead. The NILs killed it.
Yeah,
we're done with that.
There's too much talent in the powerhouses now. But yeah, this is what makes it fun. But yeah, am I terrified? For sure. I'm also going to go Saturday. And I was going to go tonight. My parents are flying in tonight. So I was like, you know what? I'll wait and go to the Elite 8 game, which I hope I didn't jinx them.
I was going to say, I'm a little worried about you just being so forthright on this, because what if you're jinxing it by saying, I'm not going to go tonight, I'm going to wait till Saturday?
Yeah, that's why I'm nervous.
So
Michelle.
why would you not just go tonight also?
Well, because number one, I thought we had a show tomorrow, and I didn't know it was a best up, and I'm a professional worker.
That's an actual lie. He is the worst.
And so I wasn't going to fly to San Fran and back just to wake up at 5 in the morning.
Oh,
and
yeah?
the
Southwest wasn't going to be able to do that for you?
What is that? Oh, heavens, no. But my point is, I'm going to go Saturday. I'm going to enjoy myself. Tonight is going to be... it's going to be fun.
When you go to the game on Saturday, like, do they put you in a great spot? How do you walk in, like, you know, big man? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the Hall of Famer, first ever SEC Player of the Year, Bees. Yeah, I'm gonna give him a speech. Last time I did this, by the way,
really?
A couple years ago, I think we were in like the SEC championship, and the old coach, now it's Todd Golden. This guy was Mike White. He said, "Hey, come talk to the guys." I get them fired up. I get them going to run through a wall. We lost by 25. So I was like, so I'm probably not going to do that this year, but yeah, it's good. Listen, I'm still hopeful, and we're the best team in the country.
Will you cry if they lose tonight?
Cry? No, don't be ridiculous, but I would not be happy.
Okay.
I would not be stoked.
Okay.
My dog's name is Gator. Like I am.
Is this the dog you love or the other one?
It's the one I love.
Okay, yeah, I always get confused on
This is not the one for sale.
Well, I'm nervous for you a little bit, although part of me that wants to just give you a hard time is rooting for Maryland.
You also took St. John's to get out of our division.
100%.
They lost second round.
And I did that because I didn't want you to be happy.
Exactly, you're a bully.
It bit me in the hiney, so I guess we all learned karma's real. Well, I'm excited for you, and I can't wait to hear about it.
Will you watch the game?
Yeah, I'll watch it. Or I'll probably listen to it. I'll be driving, but yeah.
Go Gators, baby.
Yep, what he said.
Come on.
Have a great weekend. Best of tomorrow. We'll see you guys on Monday.